Hello, good evening, and welcome to our second interview right from St. Timothy's Rabondo Secondary School in our studio. We are here to ask more questions about the new curriculum in town, how this curriculum is driving students, parents, and even teachers who are teaching it in schools. So, we are here with our deputy in Rabondo Secondary School and my colleague here, Lauren Aten, to ask more questions about it and hope we'll enjoy with me, Clancy Babu, and because folks, you get all the borrows right from TV through 9 STR live. With me, Clancy Babu. You can follow for more in our YouTube channel at TV through 9 STR Wondo at obina chinedu.co.ke.com. Welcome. Good evening, Mr. Bat.
Good evening. How are you?
Welcome to our studio.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Bat and my deputy principal, I have some questions here for you. One, these questions are all about the new curriculum introduced in town in Kenya, CBE. So I want to ask you some questions. First, let me start with beneficial questions. One, what positive outcome the positive outcomes have you observed since junior secondary was introduced in Kenya? Let me start with you.
Uh, you know, the CBC is all about competencies or whatever students are able to do, and it's not all about the examinations. So we are expecting our students to come out as a self-reliant person as compared to the 844 system that was based on only passing exams without necessarily having got the right skills to help them in life. So we are positive that the outcomes that shall come out at the end of the first rollout will be one that will enable the students to use their skills.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me come to you, Mr. Kichana, Mr. George Kichana. How was assessment different under CBE compared to 844, the last curriculum that is about to be out?
Okay, thank you. Your question is very relevant. And I want you to mark this that 844 system evaluation was summative. That is KCP testing from entry level in primary all the way to primary. So the examination has been summative. Again, going forward up to Form 4, again, one major exam, testing 4 years work. That is what we call summative examination or assessment. CBE is going to be continuous. The learner is supposed to be assessed and graded after each and every lesson, their performance per lesson. Cumulatively along the way, this makes, by the end of it, the cumulative assessment right from grade 10 all the way to grade 12. The student will have accumulated 30% of the total score. And then for the final exam, which can sound more summative, but now I've learned we only account for 70%. So this one has driven students from thinking about examination like in the past in 844, just like my colleague has stated earlier.
Okay, right from the answer you've just given out, let me ask you this. What is the main challenge schools face in implementing CBE at GS level?
Challenges are so many. Challenges are so many because one, this is a new curriculum. So the level of preparedness in terms of resources, personnel, finance is still wanting. Most schools lack a lot of facilities. And that is why I would say almost 90% of the schools can only do two faculties. That is STEM and social sciences. Only 10% of schools in Kenya are able to do the creative arts course, and the rest. Because the bulk of our schools lack the necessary facilities. It is our hope that going forward, our government and all the stakeholders are thinking along this way. So maybe the next 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, we may be talking about having a studio, an auditorium, and theaters that are key in our CBE curriculum.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come back to you, Mr. Obat.
Yes.
I forgot to inform these viewers that you are the Director of Studies in Rabondo Secondary School. Now, because you are the Director of Studies, how has, and a teacher of physics and mathematics, how has transition affected you as a mathematics and physics teachers on workload?
On the workload, we would rather say that previously there is no such difference, being that in a in a week, physics will be for the upper classes, the senior classes will be taking 5 lessons per week, just like for the grade 10s. But the only difference is that the way we are supposed to interact and do learning with the grade 10 students is totally different as compared to the way we were used to doing the 844 and the other classes. So change takes some time, and in terms of workload, we'll say that generally, oh, the workload is just okay. Nothing much has changed. Being that even the particular students, they come once they have already selected the subjects that they are supposed to be doing, as compared to the ones that were coming in Form 1, whereby you'll be teaching the whole students, the whole number of students taking physics in Form 2 is when they are able to choose their subjects when we are going to Form 3 and Form 4.
Yeah.
So the workload is just okay.
So, you personally, what do you think? Are parents and communities coping with this new curriculum CBE introduced?
Yeah, we have to change. We have to cope up with it because CBC has taken its own
But you
journey.
know, outside there, many parents doesn't understand. Yet
Yeah,
their
it's true.
students are doing the curriculum, but they don't understand the reason as to why these people are doing this. And if it reaches this point whereby sometimes you teachers send for these students some materials to work in for experiments, some of them doesn't understand. So you as a teacher, how do you think and what do you think can help them the government can do to help them understand this new curriculum and cope with it?
In order for them to cope up, we'll only need more of sensitization. We have to sensitize them whenever we call them for parents' meeting. And I think this has been taking place when these particular students went to grade 6, up to right now. So I think more sensitization they are being but it's very difficult for them to particularly change just like that. But we have to cope up with what is there for the particular student.
Well, let me chip in because um, we have said again and again that this is a new curriculum. It is new to the government, new to the teachers, new to the parents. But one thing I can say is that we are not at the end because we are not starting at senior school. We started all the way from primary to junior school, and now we are at senior school. So at least um, parents have been brought on board, even if they don't understand it fully, but they know there's something called CBE, which is quite different from the 844 that we have had. In junior school, parents were very closer to their students, to their pupils, because they would see them every day, given that junior schools were purely day schools. So they were involved in the journey of starting and implementing CBE. The only difference in senior school is that unless it's a pure day school, parents are now a bit detached, leaving the load to the teachers, the whole load to the teachers, unless they are called in to review and also to make a connection with their students. Rather, if we had a system like the junior where we send them home, then we would not be lacking these basic things in the name of teaching materials. I want only to remind the government that given that that's the situation that senior schools are facing, it is now the duty of the government to ensure that the resources, the teaching resources, are provided. We can report that in terms of books, which is the major teaching resource, already we have a few copies, albeit not enough, but we are somewhere. So the challenges are great, but we are not going to go back. It's not a rolling back. We are not going to roll back the days that have been made. We have to make suggestions and to see how we can improve this curriculum for the betterment of the students that are with us. Just to add on the same students we have been given under this curriculum, we expect them that going forward, the work of the teacher is to guide. The knowledge is generated by them, and there are people who know what they want. So it is not uncommon. It's not an uncommon experience when a student tells you, "Me, I want to be an engineer." Whether you are seeing it otherwise, we have to go by the interest of the student. So we are not at zero. The government is. We are at least somewhere, maybe 20%, 30% of what is required.
And
the journey is long.
yeah, let me just cut you short by asking you this question. What infrastructure issues are affecting this delivery, the CBE delivery?
Thank you. Previously, we only needed classrooms. But the new curriculum, given that is student-centered, we need laboratories. We need fields for sports. We need auditorium for music and dance. We need so many other such infrastructure. Actually, this is where we have a gap in senior school, because the experience we have is we are just coming to learn. There are a lot of things that still needed to be done. And that's why we are saying that our scope will be around 30% in terms of bridging into what is required. 70% is still lacking. Most schools do not even have computer laboratories, leave alone the other basics that may be required. So we are still a long way to go.
And being that CBC is about it's project based, there are a lot of things that are required that are yet to be established within the senior schools, and especially senior schools, the C2, the C3 categories, and even the C4. That crisis is too messy.
Okay. And what support is needed to make CBE work better in Kenya, in schools in Kenya right now?
The support is it's all about the provision of the right furniture, the right finance that will be able to make sure that the curriculum is implemented. The right facilities will also depend with we teachers, with the availability of the required resources from our side. From the teacher side, that shall be provided. Yes, because we realize that at the 844, teachers of 844, we were more of the delivery of content as compared to the practical bit. But right now, it's about the practical bit compared to the delivery of the content.
And being that CBE requires a lot of resources and materials, What do you think? I mean, what schools, the materials schools can manage assessment under CBE with limited resources? Because you've just said that with this new curriculum, schools need more resources, more capital. So, what do you think can, because maybe schools and the government can't afford all these resources at this point. How can schools manage assessment under CBE with limited resources?
You know, the first step that the government did is to ensure that schools are classified and then assessed based on their suitability and capacity to do or to enroll students at CBC level. We have the C1 schools, the C1 category schools. That's the original national schools, which are a bit well endowed compared to other schools. A school like our C3 school, the Ramondo we are talking about, where we are, we were only approved for 2 pathways. That is what we can afford. The only limitation is that we may have students who could have done more, but Ramondo is now limited. Those schools like Ramondo, the category are now limited. And we have to now curtail their interest into what we can afford because they choose to come here. So I think with what we are given, even without expansion, we shall take care of what we have so well. But I'm thinking about that 10203 who are with us here and we cannot take care of. And we are now forced circumstantial to do what we can offer as a school. But that's where we are. That's why we are saying they are in about 2, 3, or 4 years to be more prepared to provide more to the next cohorts. But this one may suffer given the circumstances that we are in. You are talking about resources. In senior school, it is like the whole duty of the government. It is the whole duty of the government to provide what is necessary for this one to, for this curriculum to succeed. I want to say that we are not badly off because the teaching force here is a bit expanded than junior school, where there are only about 1 or 2 teachers manning the whole lot from grade 6 all the way to grade 9, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 in junior school. But here we have the personnel. So personnel, our teachers will blend so well and transition so well. In fact, they have into the new curriculum. So that is a strength that nearly all the schools are senior schools have. But the bit of now the resources, the financial resources, the material resources like laboratories, computer laboratories, the computers themselves, and all that, I think we are a bit far.
Okay, let me just cut you short because we are supposed to be winding up all these questions. You as teachers, what subject under CBE do you think these students loves most?
We may not say that there's a particular subject that a student loves most, and maybe due to our enrollment in social sciences, different from STEM, we may say that most of our students are more aligned to social. But no, when you say a student love a particular subject, we may not have that. Yes.
But
In fact, we call them learning areas. There is very little that we can do to make them love or hate because we are having a group of learners who came knowing what they want. So you cannot sway them into STEM or whatever. Those who came for STEM clearly are in classrooms for STEM. Those who went social sciences went social sciences. Just like the US has said, we have, that is now our experience. We cannot compare it with any other school of our kind. Ours here, we have more on social sciences than compared to STEM. If that is what we may judge for love for or hate for, then we take it as that they are more on social sciences than STEM.
okay, maybe if I say this, I don't think in Rabondo there is any mentally challenged student, but I think you've explored outside there. How do you handle students, or how do those teachers, those schools with mentally challenged students handle these learners with special needs under CBE curriculum?
Yeah,
That
schools.
question may not be relevant for our situation because in Kenya there are schools that are specifically for,
Meant for.
we call them special needs schools. In Migori County, for example, we have a few, about 10 in number. And again, we don't expect such challenges to be, students with such challenges to be so many. So they are fitting there so well. Our situation is a situation for normal students, not challenged mentally, not even. I think we have a few with physical challenges, but they are normal students just like any other. So we don't have challenges with them. Maybe that question would have been very relevant if you ask a school like Media School for the Deaf that receives those who are deaf or dumb, and therefore may also be mental in nature. But here, I don't think we have had any issues of mental challenges with the students. But the normal ones are supported so that they live a normal life.
And Mr. Bat,
Yes.
do you think that CBE will prepare students for a better job market than 844?
Yeah, I'm very sure that that will happen. Being that right now, the issues of unemployment, you will get that students have got certificates that will not help them. They are seated with maybe grade A's, grade B's at home. They are not able to deliver practically. But with the new curriculum, we are seeing even from this other, maybe not necessarily this cohort, but even the previous cohorts, when you observe them keenly, we are realizing that they are destined to do well compared to what is existing right now.
Now, just again, please remember the objective of CBE is to have job creators, not job seekers. The ultimate goal is that these guys are supposed to leave each and every system. Even if they were to drop